Realtors, wondering how you can use Twitter to get business? John Carter here, I'm the broker and owner at RE/MAX River City in Edmonton, and we want to do a quick video today. We've done some separate ones on how to leverage Facebook to get business, strategies with that, how to use LinkedIn and other social platforms around reviews, etc. But today I want to focus on Twitter. So a lot of people, I've seen a lot in our industry that'll have a Twitter account and a Twitter handle, and it often works to the negative for them because they're not engaged, they're not active on it, they don't share or interact at all. So the first thing is, if you're going to be on a social platform, you need to be engaged with it. You need to have a focus on it. So if you don't want to be on Twitter, you're better to not be on it than you are to be kind of have a negative online presence there. Now, the reason to use Twitter is it's very commonly used with media sources and because of their trending ability. So what trending is on Twitter is where someone uses a hashtag and enough people are using it within a time period. Most commonly it works around like events or incidences that happen. Oftentimes you'll see things like celebrity stuff or media pushed events, large-scale events like Olympics, things like that. So if you can leverage off a hashtag that's already trending and put in your content to be part of that public conversation, share things that people are engaged with, tweet back, so do replies to people and comment and engage in a public conversation. So for example, you might use in Edmonton YEGRE, so Y-E-G-R-E stands for YEG in Edmonton is the airport code, and RE for real estate. So you'd use the hashtag YEGRE and you could search that hashtag and see who's discussing YEG real estate and engage with them in that conversation. And you can direct message them or follow them on Twitter and really engage with them. So instead of just pushing content out and putting a bunch of hashtags, do it in reverse, where you search for hashtags and then engage with those people. A second common one is to basically follow people that are influencers in your industry. But so for realtors, that might be mortgage brokers, it might be lenders, it might be major banks, it might be economists, things like that. And so you can create a list of those kind of influencers and share their content out, share content to them or tag them in posts that you do, ask them a public question. So a common one I've used, I really like Don Campbell. He's a kind of economics, real estate investment focused pundit. He's often BNN and other media sources. So I'll ask him public questions on Twitter, especially around events that he's speaking at or things like that. And then anyone who follows him will see that he's replied to me. They might look into who I am, and that's the importance of having like a good profile, so they can actually tell who you are and why they should contact you or why they should follow you, and then they get to know you over time. Another big one is direct messaging. So via Twitter, you can direct message someone. And so if you see that someone's putting posts up searching for houses or trying to sell their house for sale or asking real estate related questions, that's a big one. If you see people asking questions out via Twitter, direct message them. You can tweet back and respond saying like, yeah, I've sent you a message, feel free to reach out to me, but directly answer those questions. So the flip side of that as well is asking questions. So putting out, kind of FAQs for real estate. So what questions do you have about mortgages that I can help answer for you, or what questions you have about the market these days, and asking for the engagement that you'll then respond to. But the key is being part of that. So it's worse to ask a question and then not respond to it for a week and a half. You want to be actively engaged at any given time. And then the last one is just around events and things like that. If you're hosting events for client appreciations or the like, or you're attending, for example, real estate conferences, things like that, be engaged in that conference on Twitter. One of my first, I call it a Twitter conversion from Twitter world to real world, was I was engaged in a conversation at a conference, and I went out into the lobby to freshen up my tea, and the guy leaned over and he said, so you think XYZ about the market? You think we're going to see this happen in the next 6 months? And I didn't know him, and I instantly said, well, yeah, I do think that. Like, how did you know? And it took me a minute to realize he had responded to my tweet, and I just hadn't seen it yet when I stepped out of the room. And so we converted the conversation into an in-person conversation. But by being engaged and having my profile current and a current photo on there, etc., he knew who I was and has actually become a really good real estate client and resource. He's a big investor in the city and does a lot of actually really innovative projects and has a great network. So that's how an example of how you can leverage that online conversation, especially at an event, to a real world connection. And so obviously we got exchange business cards and connect, and now connect on other social platforms as well. But there's a top 3 or 4 strategies you can use for Twitter to get business to actually convert to clients as a realtor.